welcome to Remember 64, where this week we are back in the mod scene with some new, oh yeah, that's right, new Nintendo 64 gaming. Hi everyone, welcome to the show. Hello again to returning listeners and viewers, and welcome if this is your first time joining us. Here on Remember 64, we play and discuss the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between throughout the N64's library and more. My name is David Petrangelo, and on my spare time, I don't just play retro games. I dive into retro, easy for me to say, retro consoles and cartridges, thwarting the bad guys with beak busters, gold feathers, and, of course, puzzle pieces. And, of course, this week, Jiggy Look Back, here once again. Hello, how are you?
Yo. Doing so good, doing so well. Oh, man. This is, you might even say, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between, plus ultra, right?
Plus
My Hero
Ultra.
Academia fans, plus ultra.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
We're going plus ultra right now.
It's probably not as abundantly obvious if you haven't checked the show title or the notes or anything like that, but it's not. This isn't a game that you can find just on any N64 library at the moment. This week a very special episode because if anyone has listened to the show for the last couple years, Jiggy and I did an episode and played Smash Remix in early 2024, I think it was when the episode came out, which was awesome because we wanted to jump into some mods because there's so much out there now, whether it's for the N64 or other consoles, and it just seems like people are just creating amazing things and creating awesome stuff out there. So now that we're able to get back on sort of a regular schedule here in 2025, this was one of the things we wanted to do. We are playing probably the biggest release, or one of the biggest releases that Kirko Mods has created. Kirko Mods you may have seen on YouTube, on Instagram, Twitter, and Blue Sky, a bunch of other sort of everything you can find them on. Huge following, doing amazing work, creating a bunch of Nintendo 64 mods, many of them around Mario 64 and Banjo-Kazooie. This one in particular is an epic project that's called Banjo-Kazooie Nostalgia 64. We're going to get into details of all of what that means, but is essentially using the Banjo-Kazooie framework and creating a whole new game out of it, new worlds, new puzzles, new characters, and just building upon a bunch of really cool ideas from other N64 games. Jiggy, this was great because Kirko, I reached out to them and said, oh, yeah, I know this is coming out. I feel like this would be great for us to cover. Obviously, I would love to play it regardless. And they were nice enough to send us an early copy of it before it's publicly released in May of 2025. And this is just something that we've been looking forward to for a while.
Absolutely. Shout out to Mark Kirko. I've talked and chatted with him quite a few times about just random things. We always comment on each other's YouTube polls. We always chat on Twitter. We like each other's posts. We've had this online friendship, and so and I've played a lot of his mods.
You have, and you've streamed them and stuff too.
It.
You've played a lot of them.
They're super cool. His work is just incredible.
Yeah.
Taking that, like you said, the banjo framework. This is almost this game. If I had to describe it and sell it to anyone, it's a celebration of Nintendo 64 titles. And what better way to settle it than to throw Banjo into the mix? You play as Banjo and you explore Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And it sounds fantastic because it is fantastic.
This is also one of those ones where I would encourage everyone to play it. I think first and foremost, I would encourage everyone to one, support Kirko and all the work that he's done, especially with something like this, because it is very impressive, and we'll get into the details of all that as we go along. But it's also one of those things where you can watch this video and see some of the footage that we're going to be talking about, and the worlds and the gameplay, and even the videos that he's constantly been putting out about this. Some of them are showing you little tidbits of secrets and stuff. Again, something that we'll be talking about, but also sort of showing you how to, sort of tips and tricks of how to get through some of the worlds. But this is one of those games that seeing it is one thing, but playing it really does actually make a huge difference. And this is one of those things where, you don't need a physical cartridge to play it. You can emulate it from a ROM that is available, but you can put this on an EverDrive 64, which we both used in order to play it, and play this authentically, which is a huge difference with a lot of mods out there. not all of them, but some, it's just, oh, here's a ROM file, put it on your emulator, play it whichever way you want. But there is that tactile feeling. And like we've discussed in previous episodes, especially with Banjo-Kazooie, which is the previous episode on your feed here, playing this game, playing anything Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie related is different with the N64 controller, regardless of how you play it. And I do think that doing that really adds something to the experience. So however you can play it, and if you can play it as authentically as possible, I do think it will make a big difference. I want to say that off the top because it's worth seeking out. It's worth playing. Watching it's one thing, but getting your hands on it in an authentic way, or as authentic as possible, I think is a big thing. And you played it through that way as well, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I played it on Nintendo 64 hardware.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the way to go. I don't know. I feel like if you can play it on hardware, do it. If you can't, obviously there's other options. But there's something magical about playing a quote unquote new Banjo-Kazooie game.
I know. It's new. Dude, it's new.
Like
it's crazy.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
And if anyone hasn't sort of followed Jiggy Look back on YouTube or checked in and stuff, you played through this whole thing or very close to this whole thing in one sitting like a crazy person, but also
I think I may very well be the only person on the planet right now that has played Nostalgia 64 in its entirety, like the main story.
Yeah.
Beat it in one sitting on live stream. It took me 8.5 hours, I think.
Yeah, the stream, I sifted, I checked in a couple times when you were streaming, and then I looked at the VOD. I think it was about 8.5 hours, so about 8 hours to get through it, and that's 100% or close to 100% without doing some of the extra things here and there that are
there
added
was
to it.
To my knowledge, I did a lot. The only two things I really didn't do. Oh, okay, there are three things I didn't do. One is I didn't collect all the Mumbo Skulls. I missed 2.
Oh, how many were there? I don't even know how many there were because there was a lot. There's like
there was a lot. There was a bunch in each level, and I was like, I'm not gonna do all those right now. Maybe later.
But like with the original game, I don't think you need every single one.
You don't need them.
Yeah. But they're in fun places. They're hidden in fun
Yeah,
places. So
normally I wouldn't collect all of them.
Yeah.
But he specifically has a like Mumbo tokens like collection and shows the level with how many you got and how many you didn't.
Right.
And it's just irking.
Yeah.
Right. It just irks me. And then there was a bonus world that I didn't do. I got to and I saw it and I walked in and I'm like, guys, I'm going to bed.
It's like God knows what time right now.
I was ready to like finish that game and then I got to another world and I'm like, all right, well, we can't do this right now, guys. I gotta go. I beat the main story, which is what I really wanted to do.
Yes.
And and then I found out there was one more secret that I didn't do, which totally answered a question, and hopefully we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, let's get into it after because there's a couple things that I wasn't able to get to. The secret or the end, the sort of extra ending, so to speak, that I didn't get to that. I just didn't have time. But I did get to the point where it was accessible. I did not play this all in one sitting. I definitely could not.
No one probably should.
Probably not. For your own mental and physical health, you probably should not follow our example, or at least Jiggy's example in this particular case.
Yeah, it was like 4 a.m. when I went to bed.
Oh, was it really? Oh, man.
Yeah.
Dude.
And I was like, why did I do that?
What did I just do to myself?
The answer is because this game was awesome.
Yes. Ultimately, at the end of the day, regardless of everything we're talking about, it is an excellent game. Before we get into too much detail, I want to make sure that I do this off the top and remind everyone that they can send us a voicemail. This is something that I've put out in social media and encourage people to sort of give us thoughts on the show, on episodes we've done, episodes they want us to do, games that they love or don't love, things we might have missed. I'm totally fine if you want to correct us along the way and stuff. There's lots of that opportunity, especially if I'm talking. So feel free to do that. But it's at voicecast.app/remember64. So pretty easy to find. It's also on social media, so you can find it there too. And I post it every once in a while, encouraging people to send things in. Honestly, it could be about anything related to the 64 and to the show and stuff. It doesn't even have to be about an upcoming or current episode or anything like that. So feel free to share your thoughts. It's completely free. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on the computer. You can do whatever you want. It's just through a browser, and you can just use whatever microphone in that particular situation you're on. And the quality is actually pretty good. So I wanted to play one as an example, just to show everybody what it's like, and we can sort of have a little fun with what this is. And I'm gonna hit play. We're gonna listen to it, and we're gonna do a little chat.
Jake from Nunavut here. For some reason, you guys keep talking about the Nintendo 64, like every week. Not quite sure why, but besides the N64, what is your guys' favorite console of all time?
Well, I don't know if anyone knows, but that is a certain Jake that we may or may not have had on this show before. So hello, Jake. How are you? Not from Nunavut. If anyone doesn't know where Nunavut is, it is the deep north or the far north of Canada. And Jake is actually probably lives like half hour, 40 minutes from where I sit right now. So if you want to hear more of Jake and his fun times, Press B to Cancel is his show. And he was also on our Superman 64 and Paperboy episodes as well. But I think that's a good little sort of added bonus thing to a episode that is sort of an added bonus in itself. So, Jiggy, I think we've talked about this a little bit before, off and on. I think you know what my answer is. I suspect, I have a suspicion what yours is, but aside from the N64, if there is another one, what is the runner-up or even ahead of the N64 for favorite consoles for you?
Nothing's ahead of the N64.
I figured.
But yeah. If I had to pick, which by the way, I know yours is Super Nintendo.
Correct.
But if I had to pick, it's kind of tough, but honestly, I'd probably go with the GameCube.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was thinking it would be.
Yeah. There's a couple consoles that I hold in very, very high regard, but I find myself when I'm not playing my N64, I'm often playing my Nintendo GameCube. And in addition to that, I actually play my Switch quite a bit too. I feel like I cycle between those three. And Nintendo for life, I guess.
I know.
I have Sega consoles. I have Xbox consoles. Like I love the Genesis. I love Dreamcast. But I just always default to Nintendo. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
There's something about... I do think that, at least for me, especially with the Super Nintendo, it is definitely a big nostalgia part of it, for sure, for the SNES. It was my first console. I had it even before I had the original Game Boy. I think the only thing that would rival for me would probably be either the Game Boy Color or Advance, because I just played it so much growing up. And I would say probably the Advance, because all my Game Boy Color and original Game Boy games worked on it anyway. So it was the one that I probably ended up playing the most. I still have it, still works, all this. It's great. So that would be the if you want to, handhelds are considered consoles in my mind, but if you want to talk about just home consoles, probably the SNES, and then definitely one of the Xboxes, because I just play them the most out of any of the sort of more modern ones. But I've been chastised before in the show by you and others that the Super Nintendo is my favorite console, despite having and basically producing a Nintendo 64 podcast myself. But I will say, over the last, I guess it's been about 2.5 to 3 years of doing the show, I already loved this console, but I do like it more now than I did. I will say, like, there you go. I always liked it. It was always something I was fascinated by as I got older, because I know that I didn't dig into all these extra games that, like, you seem to have grown up with and stuff that I never did. Based on all the awesome stories that you have of how you got a lot of those. Yeah, it's great.
Story for every game.
Exactly. And I have none. So
yeah,
well, I had Mario Party. Like that.
People are always biased to the console that they really grew up with, right?
Sure.
And so the N64 is that for me, because I'm an early 90s baby, so I grew up, this is what I played when I was a little kid. And then the GameCube, probably just because it fell in my teenage years, right? Like pre-teen.
And it was next in
years.
line, right? In timing.
Yeah, it was next in line. So that's probably why that's my second favorite. And that whole generation of PS2, Xbox, the GameCube's what I had.
Yep. And for me, it was the Xbox, right? So it's just one of those things, right? That's kind of.
I will say I do really appreciate the Dreamcast, but the Dreamcast growing up was this mythical thing that I saw everywhere, but I never had. I was hardcore, hence the Sonic poster in the background for those that can see. I was hardcore Sega, oh my gosh.
Because you love your Sonic, right? You love those. Yeah.
I loved Sonic. I loved Golden Axe. Golden X2.
Yes, Golden X
Like
is great.
I had a thing for so many Sega Genesis titles, and I really wanted a Sega Genesis because my friend had it.
Mhm.
Like that's what I played, and then I only owned Nintendo consoles growing up. And at first I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yep.
But then it's like it all worked out.
It all
If I
works
didn't
out.
have
Yeah, it's
that
all.
If
Yeah,
I didn't have that N64, I wouldn't have gotten Banjo, which is the other side of the room.
exactly.
You
There you
know?
go. Yeah, other side of the room and the entire other side of your brain too. It's just all.
Yeah,
It's all that,
exactly.
right? Yeah. As it should
Exactly.
be. Okay, so just so voicecast.app/remember64. Toss us any of your thoughts and feels and all that. And while you're at it, give us a follow on and subscribe on YouTube. Obviously, a rating on your podcast app of choice, and all those fun things. Follow us on social media and everything as well. So that is where you can find us. And I'm so on top of things.
You got it.
I'm so good at what I do, everyone. But you know who else is better at what they do? One, Jiggy, look back at the stuff you do. But also, we're talking about Kirko. Let's talk about Nostalgia 64. Let's get going in this. I'm just going to play a little bit of sound off the top to get people, give people an idea of what this sounds like and sort of how they've created the intro to the game and done something kind of unique. And again, feel free to watch this as well while we're talking about it, because we're going to kind of comment on some of the things that we see in the levels and stuff like that. But this is pretty much like the beginning of the game here for the first little bit. New voices, new sort of like. Does it feel good to just hear Kazooie and Banjo talk? I love it. A lot of inside jokes, which we'll get to. A lot of sort of callbacks and things like that. So, basically, the game begins with what is it? Nintendo. What?
Nintendo 60 Ford.
60 Ford. Nintendo SYXTYF Ford.
Or is it N60?
N60 Ford. That's
Nintendo.
what it is. Yeah,
N64.
which is sort of like this a wizard type character that is telling Banjo-Kazooie, you need to help save the 64, essentially. Like, this is sort of the setup of the game. And what you do is, which is already such a great original epic idea in itself, is you dive into the cartridge and the console of the N64 and Nostalgia 64, and you enter different worlds like you do in Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie, but each world is represented by a classic and very well-known Nintendo 64 game. Where did you start? Because I think that's something too, is that all of these are different. All of these games are completely different. So
I have to first backpedal a little bit because
do.
that first opening sequence, right after we use the flight pad, at the very beginning, you meet N64, you hit the flight pad, you fly off, and then it shows the classic like get N or get out with an N64 console.
Right.
That is one of the most high-res models I've ever seen that can actually run on a physical N64. It looked so good. Like, it is like a high quality, like even on my N64, we're watching clips of emulation, which looks a little bit sharper, looks better. Well, looks a lot sharper, looks better.
It's a lot sharper. The colors are brighter, I think. But that's what you get. And this is playing off of Kirko's YouTube page as well. So this is that. But yeah, we both played on the actual N64, like we said. It still looks great on that, though. Honestly, I agree.
It looks fantastic. I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. You can run around on the controller and stuff if you want, which is pretty epic.
Yeah.
But anyways, to answer your question, once you get in, you have the option of going one of two directions. Directly behind you is Yoshi's Story, and then to the right is Mario 64. And essentially, these are like giant cartridges that are floating in the air that you can run up and you can jump into, and then you go into that world. Now, I am stupid, so I didn't know Yoshi's Story was even there, and I just immediately went straight right to Mario 64, and so I jumped right into Bob-omb Battlefield, which honestly was a pretty cool way to start. But
I think that's actually, is that the first one I played too? It might have been.
Yoshi's Story seems like the intended first place to start because it's essentially the Spiral Mountain, like get the extra honeycomb pieces.
Yeah, so actually that's a good place for me to pull up some notes that Kirko actually sent me about the game. So he wrote here specifically actually to remind me of the Yoshi Story one. I'll get to more details of that he sent me as well, but it says in early 2021 I already had all of the levels, so I thought about making a small hub world to bring them all together and renamed it BK Nostalgia 64, but there wasn't much more ambition than just adding the Yoshi Story level and little else. However, the project grew and a programmer joined, so we expanded everything. So Yoshi Story was one of the ones that was, you know, like everything in this, it's a very original idea and everything, but Yoshi Story feels really original too, because it's also, I think it's the first level in the actual Yoshi Story game that's recreated in 2D while using the classic Banjo-Kazooie control scheme. So also something that's really cool is the fact that there are 2D elements in this, and the Yoshi Story one is short. It's a bite-sized level, but like you said, it's still something where you have some collectibles and stuff like the honeycombs and stuff. Anyways, just reminding me of that.
Yeah, it's a good first place to start and get some extra health.
Well, and sort of get your footing and stuff too. Like, oh, this is kind of what we're doing. This is kind of the idea of this and stuff. So
it definitely seems like the intention, but apparently we're both like, nah, we're going right into Mario 64, right to the right.
Right.
And it's also a great first level. I mean, it obviously takes some liberties. It's not a 1-to-1 recreation of Bob on Battlefield, but it's pretty faithful.
It's pretty like, close. Yeah.
I would say it's close. Probably 85% there. And then obviously it's Banjo-ified, so there's a few new things just to make it a little more interesting and complement Banjo's moveset. But yeah, the structure of the level is pretty much the same, and it's awesome to hear all of the different N64 games represented in the Banjo sound font. That's one
actually
of my
here
things.
let's listen to that, because like the music will play while we're watching this. Like just hearing that in Mario 64 essentially, or almost Mario 64, is like
it hits hard.
What a song. What a song.
What a song.
We'll talk more about the music as we go along too, because it's great. Every stage has its own rendition of what that original tune is, and it sounds amazing. So, so what's really cool about this, and also what's actually very original about the Mario 64 level, is that it's actually a set of levels. There's 3 different stages from Mario 64 within that cartridge that you jump into. This is one of them, obviously, and I keep forgetting all the names to these, but
Womp's Fortress and I'm going to say Jolly Roger's Lagoon. Wait, Jolly Roger Bay? What is it?
Isn't it? Womp's Fortress, Jolly Roger Bay. Yeah, Jolly Roger Bay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lagoon is Tooie. Bay. Yes. I guess I was just immediately like, oh no, it's not Jolly Roger, but
yeah, Jolly Roger Bay. Yeah.
I was right.
Yeah. So these are all levels that if you've played Mario 64 at least a couple times or a handful of times, which many listeners and viewers probably have at this point, you'll kind of just automatically know, like, oh, I have to go left here. Oh, there's probably going to be some way to unlock this little area or whatever. And some of it is almost exactly the same. Like you have to do a very similar task to get that jiggy or to get that collectible or whatever. But there's a lot of small touches that are thrown in a lot of these levels. It's not just this one. And I don't know. I wanted to find, like, not just because we could sit here and say like, hey, I found everything in this stage when we were talking about the game, but like, I just was drawn to find everything that I could, because I wanted to see what was created here. I wanted to see how they did something so unique with this, because like right now we're watching Banjo and Kazooie go into what looks like the classic original Mario castle that you would go into at the end of each stage, or most stages in the original Super Mario Brothers. And all of a sudden you're in a 2D platforming area, collecting notes and eggs and stuff. And when I first saw this, because I played, like we just said, I played this before the Yoshi Story one, so I had no idea that anything would ever go into like a 2D space. I was like, whoa, this is like, it's a cool idea. And then you jump out of the castle and you're back into the world again. And you're doing sort of what, picking up where you left off kind of thing. And it's just, those little touches don't even need to be there, but it's fun because one, it's a callback, nostalgia for other games and other franchises as well. But like, it's just an extra original idea to bring to a game that never had this previously or didn't have this in this way previously. Like, it's just, I love these touches. And even though there's several 2D representations in this, one you may expect would end up being my favorite eventually, but they never felt old because they were all doing something different and new and representing different games and franchises, and they did it in their own way. I thought it was great. I don't know if you found them to be great as well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, they're pretty awesome. It's something that Kirko has done in other mods as well.
Right.
And it's a treat. It's a treat to find and experience different ones. In Jiggies of Time, there's a few like Zelda ones, and it goes even as far as like, and in this one too, not only 2D side scrolling, but later on there will be like classic overhead, like Zelda style, like overworld stuff.
And the Bomberman one has one like that too, like old school Bomberman style. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some really cool stuff like that, and Kirko has done that with other mods before that are always like themed around whatever we're playing. It's just a really unique idea, and Banjo being a 3D game weirdly translates super cool to like a 2D experience because we
Right?
never got a 2D Banjo like that. And it's not that like there's a huge desire or anything. It's just like different. It's cool.
That's
it's cool.
what it is. And like we it's sitting here. We've referenced this already in the previous Banjo-Kazooie episode, but we did play the GBA versions or GBA counterparts to Banjo-Kazooie, which you'll hear soon if you're listening to this when this releases. But we played those, and those are sort of like a 2.5D type thing. So in a way, they tried it there, but this is different because it just, I don't know, it hits different. One, because it's, referencing old games and styles and stuff like that. But it's just really, it's a really interesting way to sort of bring things to light in a different way. And I don't want to dwell on it too much, but it is something that surprised me because I did play a couple of his other mods before I booted this up, but I never got to any of the 2D ones. I just sort of dabbled in those, which now I definitely am going to go back and play more of them for longer.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's a little more hidden in other games.
Okay.
I feel like this one hits you with it right off the bat.
It does, and in a lot of the stages, and a couple of the times at least, you actually need to go through them in order to get to a Jiggy or a Honeycomb or something like that. So there, you have to do it if you want to get as many notes or items or any of the collectibles as you can. So those are really cool. The one thing I really, really want to mention, and it's because I discovered it in this level first, and I think Bottles is a badass, or he's a troublemaker or something, because every time you find a recognizable boss or large enemy that you would see in what game this particular stage is representing, not just the Mario 64 ones, there's a little pinned note beside each of them. The Pokemon level has it. All the Mario ones have it. Name it. They all have one. And it says Bottles was here, I'm pretty sure is what it says. And pretty sure Bottles is wreaking havoc, and we didn't know it across the N64.
Oh, yeah. Whether he was doing it before this mod or not is debatable, but he's certainly a troublemaker in this game. I actually really appreciated it because Bottles is, in fact, the main enemy.
Yeah.
He is the main protagonist in this game, which is so refreshing to not have to fight Grunty at the end.
Yes.
In a Banjo game.
Yes.
And it was an awesome final boss sequence, which we'll get to a little bit later, but it was hilarious.
What's great is that it almost seems, I mean, there's lots of Easter eggs in this. The game itself is almost like a giant Easter egg in a lot of ways. But when I first discovered that, I was like, what's this little thing on the ground? And I zoomed in on it. I was like, are you kidding me? This is hilarious. This is a great way to bring this guy, a character that I have always enjoyed, into this game. This is amazing. And then it all kind of comes around full circle in a way. So it's great. I thought that was a nice touch. So yeah, so the Mario 64 levels, you go through that. I'm going to skip ahead in the video a little bit and try and find other ones and stuff. But yeah, Bottles was here. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's so great.
Oh, and all the enemies like appear to be dead.
They're basically dead. Yeah, like
there's a few with like stars around their head or whatever comparable thing.
Yeah,
in their
I think
game.
Wizpig might have that. I think
Wizpig I think had Diddy Kong electric guitars from like DK64.
Is that what it was? Oh man, I missed that.
Yeah,
Okay.
he had. They were stars, but they were like his electric guitar.
Right.
And so he had those around him like he was knocked out.
Actually, this is.
But
I wanted to show that.
Yeah, but King Bob-omb looks like he's just straight up dead.
Well, he's got X's for eyes. That usually in cartoons is like a sign of like, oh, this character's dead.
Yeah, exactly. So some are still alive, but a lot of them are taken out.
Yeah. There's even things like this level. If you're watching right now, you go into on the inside of the area in that stage that we're talking about, and there's just a whole bunch of Nintendo and 64 references. It's just built out of items you would recognize from whether it's advertisements, other games, iconic sort of, you have the Majora's Mask there, while also having this, which we're looking at right now, is all these people that were part of the Patreon that helped support Kirko through this. I love little touches like that as well, because you gotta sort of, shout out the people to help make it happen. So
yeah, I'm gonna shout out to Clifford Longhead, because there's someone who's like really active in my community, and they sat through a majority, if not almost the entire stream with me. And yeah, they were on that. And they were like guiding me a little bit.
That's awesome.
So they had some insight, so it was pretty cool. So shout out to Clifford.
Nice. Yeah, it's really cool to see stuff like this. Like, there isn't a version like of this sort of like area in any other game and stuff, and it's just another fun way to add some more nostalgia to a game that's already full of that. Mm-hmm. So, okay, so we sort of start off in this area. We can skip ahead to any other worlds. Is there another one like in particular that you want to make sure that we talk about for sure? Because I think in general the game, like if we're talking about gameplay and stuff, it is you go in each world, you collect 9 jiggies instead of 10, but there's still 100 notes in each one. So it is a very standard way, and that we mentioned before. There's a few more. I think a lot more of the tokens to collect throughout the game. I think there's got to be at least, I don't even know. I don't even want to say what the minimum is per stage, but there's way more. And then there's a couple transformations that you end up using and stuff, which we can get to too. But I was very impressed right off the bat.
Pacific World. I will say my favorite worlds. And I'll just say like the next world that I would love to chat about a little bit.
Let's do it.
Goldeneye.
Yes.
Goldeneye was an awesome world.
Yes. I'm going to pull that up so we can watch it. So this is another, so after you collect, just like with the other games, when you collect a certain amount of notes, you can open doors that will lead you to other worlds. In this particular area, you have Bomberman 64, Diddy Kong Racing, and Goldeneye. Goldeneye is also the first one I went to in this area. I was tempted to go to Diddy Kong, but I was like,
straight to Diddy Kong, but I thought Goldeneye actually was better.
I agree. I think the whole presentation of it, which again, we got to go to the sound. So very classic menu music from Goldeneye, sort of semi-recreated in this. And you go through it. You can go through and flip through the whole briefing of what you need to do, all written in a very funny way, just like the rest of Banjo-Kazooie typically is. So this is a mashup of what I think 3 Goldeneye levels. That again, if you've played Goldeneye more than a handful of times or kind of forever since the beginning, like myself, you'll recognize each one of these, and they are incredibly recreated in this.
They're pretty accurate. It's mostly the dam. It's mostly the level of the dam. And then we also get is it just called the facility, or is it?
I think so. Yeah.
Facility. The lab or whatever it is. It's pretty cool.
Facility in the multiplayer. I can't remember if it's called the same when you sort of select it from the single player menu or not.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah. Anyways.
But it was a treat to go through this one. It felt like I was exploring and finding new little things, because GoldenEye's not a platformer. So this one just felt really like because a lot of the games we do play have a platforming feel, or they are platformers.
Yes,
So
that's
this
right.
is like
That's right.
this is a game. This is a game that's totally different. It's not a platform in the slightest. It's an FPS. So getting to play an FPS with silly banjo controls just feels awesome. And just the additional things they put in, like right now he's looking to sync up the satellite dish with the comms. So it's like you're beak busting sync buttons on the wall
Yeah.
to get this satellite dish to drop a jiggy. It's awesome. And you progress through the level, and there's little things, probably like one of the best missions in the game, in my opinion. You have to look for Nintendo 64 console bundles.
Yes. Oh my
So
God.
you find like a big box with a console and a game inside. I believe there's a Mario one, there's a Donkey Kong one, and actually I don't remember the other one. Maybe it was Zelda.
It might have been
Ocarina of
Zelda, or
Time,
maybe it
maybe?
might have been ended up being Goldeneye. I'll find it. We'll get there because it's in
You know what?
this.
I think
in
it
this
was
video.
GoldenEye. That makes so much more
Yeah.
sense
So
than Zelda.
this one's Mario.
Yeah, Mario.
I'll find the other ones as we go. I don't even know.
But you find these big boxes.
You find
and
these
they're
big boxes and you don't
pretty-
really know what they're for either, right? Like you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, that's a collectible. It's fun. And it kind of talks to you like a lot of other items do, which is always a nice touch. I love that that's also
Yeah.
put in there. Oh, there's the Mario one. Yeah. And it just tells you like, hey, and then you kind of have to find out. Oh yeah. It says like a catchphrase from the advertising. It says, get into it, like get into it, which is great. Again, all these small touches that really like make this Nostalgia 64 game what it is those little
And
touches.
you can find N64 in a lot of levels,
Yes.
and he'll give you hints on like where to find jiggies and things.
Yep, or how to like unlock a door or something like that. Like
Yeah.
I think he's in all, if not most, of the stages. And actually, in one of them, I think it ended up being the Bomberman one, maybe, or maybe. Oh no, I think the Pokemon Snap one. I think I found him and I was like, oh, okay, that really helped. That was good. And it's not just there to sort of tell you something goofy. Like it actually told me, oh, this is what I need to do, and I think it actually really ended up leading me to the end of the stage and to solving it all and stuff. So,
By the way, we didn't talk about it, but the health is not honeycombs in this. It's actually N64 logos.
yeah, the actual
is
N, the
funny.
3D N.
Yeah, the actual N. It like pops out of enemies and stuff and lands
Yeah.
in front of you.
Yeah. Again,
It's a beautiful
touch.
little sprite. Like
it
looks
is.
good.
It's very clean. It looks really cool. It never feels like out of place because everything in this game is just having fun, anyways. Yeah, I think the GoldenEye one is really cool because, like you said, I didn't actually really know what to expect because I didn't really. I mean, I saw a couple of the trailers that Kirko released and sort of hyping up that this was coming out and stuff. But I was thinking like, okay, so we played the Mario level. I played Yoshi's Story at this point. It went to 2D, which I hadn't experienced in his previous mods. So I'm like, are they gonna make me do an FPS with Banjo-Kazooie? like,
Well, I mean, it's possible. I think it's more likely if they cracked the code and got 2E, we would have had legitimately just an FPS.
right. So I was almost half expecting. I wasn't disappointed that it wasn't that, but I do think that is a very good point that you made. That like this game that it is representing in GoldenEye is not a platformer. So you really have to come up with a creative way to have the notes and the jiggies and, you know, where the tokens are and all that. But this is also one of the ones that, especially for the outdoor area of the dam level, that is very, very one-to-one, I think. Maybe just as much or more so than the Mario 64 ones. I thought this was like really, really well represented. It was really
This
cool.
feels. I mean, you can compare it directly, and I'm sure there's discrepancies and variances.
Sure.
But in my memory, this is exactly how this level plays out.
And you almost know where to go to even
Yeah.
find some of the stuff that you don't even know you need to find yet because you've played this level 100 times. You know, like that.
Oh, yeah.
That is what this is too, is that there's a lot of really brilliant ways that those things are brought to light in this one and especially and a little bit in Diddy Kong Racing too, but this one and the Mario 64 one, I think the most, because those are very much represented in the games that they're trying to recreate and stuff. So, and I wanted to go back to the sort of the game bundle thing, which was kind of cool too, is that you find one or two, at least I did. I found one or two before I even knew what I had to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think N64 sort of tells you like, or someone tells you, you should give people a gift or something.
Yeah,
and it ends up
he does.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. So then it ends up being like some of the guards that are like not okay with being bad guys anymore or something, and they're all sad and trying to figure out like how do you make them happy, and you give them an N64 bundle is what makes them happy. And
Of course it does.
of course, why wouldn't it? Come on.
It makes anybody happy.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, this was, what else about this level? Because like there was a lot of fun touches in this one too.
Well, moving past the dam part and going into the facility part, there's a really funny Klungo, like what does it say on the poster? It says something like "Don't hit the scientists" or something.
Here
or
it is.
Like,
I just saw it. Where was it?
here, let's see what it says here.
Oh, where is it?
Lago's in this level, by the way. You
Yeah.
fall in, you know, the scene in Goldeneye where you fall into the toilets.
You do the
You
whole
can
thing.
shoot
You go
his
through.
head
You
off.
go
You do
through
the
a
whole
vent.
thing.
Yeah, you go
You
through a
land
vent.
on
and-
Lago, which is hilarious.
It's yeah. It's. I thought I was like supposed to like do something with him or whatever, but just the fact that he's in there is.
Yeah,
is
he's
amazing.
just there. He's just a toilet. That's the only.
It's
purpose
just a
he serves.
toilet.
Let's see.
He's okay.
Respect our scientists.
Respect
That's what
their
it says.
You're right.
And yeah, you go in and don't hit him, or he will one shot you, basically.
That's right. Yeah.
Which I did, and of course I went in and immediately hit him.
Why wouldn't you?
And
Of course.
I was immediately killed.
Yeah.
And I had to
Did the same
recollect
thing.
all my notes, and I was like, oh my gosh. Evidently, it's a Metal Gear Solid reference, which, don't hate me in the comments, but I've never actually played the original Metal Gear Solid.
Ooh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, I've actually only played. Which one was the one on PS3? That was 4, right?
I believe that
So I
was
played
4. Yeah.
4. I've played some of 5. And I played Portable Ops on PSP.
Okay.
And so those are like the only ones I played. So it honestly makes me want to go back and play Metal Gear Solid because I want to understand the reference.
I would love to replay that first one because I remember when we were younger playing it before, and then it came out for PC, which was kind of crazy. And
That is crazy.
yeah, and my buddy had, and what you could do is you could buy, I think maybe you could also do this on the original PlayStation, but you could buy just the VR missions, which were just the challenges and puzzle levels and stuff like that. And we used to play those nonstop more than the actual game itself. Because it's a fun way to sort of pass a controller around and stuff like that too, right? So
Let me just segue, because we just coincidentally started talking about PlayStation, that there is a PlayStation character in this game
yes, that's right.
that starts chatting. I don't remember what's happening. They're like getting tortured or something.
Something like that.
Something is happening. It's around there's a DK level, and it's like in that part of the hub world, and it starts chatting with you.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And then there's, okay, so Goldeneye, this is another thing. So we mentioned the bottles note that's beside all these bosses and stuff. Again, little things that you'll find across the game are like, for example, in the Goldeneye level, there are dossiers that have people's name on it and an agent number. This one in particular that I paused on is Mark Kirko, apparently. So it says M. Kirko, Agent 008, and he's doing a ridiculously goofy face, which is awesome. Many of the other ones, if not all of them, I don't think it's all of them, many of the other ones here at this level are actual like 007 actors. So I found a couple of that had the actual actors that played them in the movies and stuff, which is really cool. Some of them are people that contributed to the game as well, which is really
one
fun.
is his cat. One is his cat.
Oh, I didn't see
I
that
found
one.
that
Oh,
one.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
But these are little things, like they're not collectibles, they're just small little things you'll see on the ground. Throughout the game in a bunch of different levels, I don't even know how many there are, you'll see the coins from Diddy Kong Racing just sitting on the ground, which is great. You don't collect them, but they're just there as like an added bonus thing, which is like, oh,
Wait, do you not know? Do you not know?
Do you do something with them?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
So
I just went right past
Mark
them all the
Kirko,
time.
he posted on his YouTube, because I also didn't know what they were for.
Yeah.
You transform. Maybe this is the segue to the Diddy Kong Racing level.
Yep, let's do it.
So there's a Diddy Kong Racing level, and it's Greenwood Village.
Yes.
And
great race, by the way. Great race. Love
in
it.
this, you actually experience, is it the first Mumbo transformation? I think it might be.
I think it is, because you don't do any in Goldeneye, you don't do any in Mario, and it's early-ish in the game. So yeah, I think so. I think so.
Yeah, so there's only a few Mumbo transformations in the game, but this is one of them. And actually, is it the only transformation? I can't think of any others right now.
No, there's one in the Pokemon one. You go as like the bug. as the
Oh yeah, that's
Game
right.
Boy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's one of the few transformations in the game.
Yeah.
But you transform into Pipsy from Diddy
Yes.
Kong Racing,
Yes.
and you're in a cart, and it doesn't play like Diddy Kong Racing. It plays like you're a transformation into something small.
You
But
kind of run. You kind of move as the speed as if you're running as Kazooie. It's kind of like what it is
so
essentially. But yeah.
you can leave the level as Pipsy.
So I didn't try that. I left as the bug in the Pokemon Snap
So
level because you need to.
can't-
But
You leave the level in a specific way.
ah,
Where Wizpig is defeated and on the ground, there
Yeah.
are trees right above him.
yes.
And one of the trees you can go up to with Pipsy, and you sink down into it like the pumpkin in Mad Monster Mansion. And then all of a sudden you're doing a silver coins challenge, just like Diddy Kong Racing.
No
And that's when
way.
you go into all the levels and you collect the silver coins.
Oh my
And
god.
I believe it gives you a secret like final Jiggy at the end.
That
It
is-
might give you something else, but I do not remember off the top of my head. So feel free to go explore that and do it yourself.
Yes.
But yeah,
Man.
it's a really cool thing.
So I have not finished the game with those like added bonus things like we mentioned off the top, but this is now another one I'm going to add to the list of things I need to do
Hmm
because
It's funny. I was considering. I'm like, so I had one bonus world. I guess I can just talk about it because I unlocked it after I beat the game. I got all the Jiggies in the game. And then I
I
unlocked
ended up getting all the Jiggies. Yeah.
I unlocked the final like bonus world, which
Mhm.
was Dinosaur Planet.
Right.
Which people who have seen my channel know that I'm a huge Dinosaur Planet shill, and I love it.
Yep.
I simp for Dinosaur Planet. It's great. And yeah, so I went in and explored, but that is an entire new world filled with Jiggies. And
so cool.
what was I gonna say about that?
Was it
don't
related
remember.
to Pipsy? Was it related to that stage? Did you play through the stage or you?
I only went in and just kind of looked around.
Okay, that's the one that you went into.
But it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of the bonuses. So there's like, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say I initially thought that was the only thing I really had left to do in the game,
Oh, I see.
aside from collecting the skulls.
Right.
And then I found out about this Pipsy challenge, and now I'm like, is there even more?
I mean, there
Like
there could be because that's one, and there's lots of Mumbo tokens, so maybe there's another transformation somewhere that.
And they're busy patching bugs and doing different things. There is potential. I have no insider knowledge into this.
Yeah, we're not sure. Yeah.
But there is potential that they could add something else when this game gets a public release, which is the 17th.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this after the 17th, get the game, go get it, play it, and see if there's anything different that you see that we didn't get to see.
Yep, because we've been told that there's more work being done on the game, little bugs and things like that, which is totally fair. But we accessed this. We were able to get like the early release before those bugs are put in and stuff, which is fine. I didn't find anything that was game breaking or anything like that. So even without that, I was fine.
Oh no, it plays great.
Yeah.
There was no like, let the record show. There were patch notes. I know when we got the game, and it said specifically like there was a bug in I think the Goldeneye level, but it's rare, but it could happen. That's the kind of bugs we're looking at. Like
like just be aware this could be a possibility, and that's it. Like that's pretty much it. Was it was a very short point form thing that we were sent. Yeah,
it's nothing to worry about. But by the final release, you'll be having lots of stuff. He's been working really hard to patch things, and it's pretty cool.
It is. I don't. There's nothing bad I want to say about the game, but I didn't love the layout or how you did stuff in like the Diddy Kong Racing level. It wasn't my favorite, but
yeah, Diddy Kong Racing wasn't my favorite level either.
Yeah,
I would have to say that. So let's just lay out all the levels right now.
Yeah, actually, we can just go through the whole list.
I think that's good. So you've got Yoshi's Story. I always want to say Yoshi's Island. I don't know why I always want to say that.
Because Yoshi's Island is an incredible game. That's why.
Yoshi's Story, Mario 64,
yeah,
Goldeneye, Diddy Kong Racing, Bomberman 64,
Pokemon Snap,
Donkey Kong 64, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Glover,
yep,
Beta Banjo-Kazooie,
yes.
Project Dream, which is super cool, and Dinosaur Planet, and I believe that's all of them. Castlevania. And I forgot about Star Fox.
Star Fox.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Castlevania and Star Fox.
Yeah.
Castlevania is very short though. It's just like the ship.
Yeah.
But it's so cool that it's there.
And just Star Fox, I was like, oh my god, there's again a game that is very much not a platformer, obviously, or at least the one that it's trying to be based off of. It's just like another way to find all these really cool ways of bringing Star Fox into it. So
what's cool about Star Fox is there are actually cutscenes. You go and like randomly talk to the character.
So good.
There's like little icons of them on a wall that's like indicating it's like a radio communicator or something, and you go click it, and then it shows a cutscene of like them and the R-Wing talking to you, and then there's actually a fight scene and stuff. Super cool. And what's really neat is it also sort of answers this child mythical, like, what does the inside of the Great Fox look like? Because we all played Star Fox 64.
That's right.
We all wondered about it.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, you're exploring the Great Fox in this, which is super cool.
Yeah.
And Banjo's basically like assisting the Star Fox team and trying to get to the captain's bay of the Great Fox.
Yeah, that's right.
It's awesome. And I gotta say, like, listing out my favorite levels, I'm curious as to what yours are, but I'll just say mine. I loved Goldeneye.
Mm-hmm.
I loved DK64. I loved Conquer. And I'd probably say those were my top 3.
Okay. Yeah. I think GoldenEye's up there for me too. Like, for sure. It's definitely going to be like the top 3 one. I just have this like soft spot for Star Fox, which we've talked about before in our 50th episode. So Star Fox, I just thought it was just I love the music. I love the game. And even though I was like, oh my God, we're in the Great Fox, I never actually thought about it in the same way that you just said. Like, oh yeah, we've never known what's in it. It's just, is it like
what I do?
Yeah, it really is. It's a lot of fun. Is it like the best laid out level? Is it the greatest? No, but I think it's all those other things that sort of add up to me.
Yeah.
And it might not be my favorite one, but and maybe it's because it's right off the top and because it's one that is so well represented. I think I really like the Mario 64 ones. I really liked.
Yeah, they were good.
And it's 3 of them too. Like, it's not really short, which it's okay if it's short. That's fine. I was really impressed by that because it's putting new things in very familiar situations and levels. I do like the creativity of the other ones. Like, Donkey Kong was great. I mean, I love the Donkey Kong games too, and 64 is awesome. So that might be like fighting for that 3rd spot or something, but those would be the ones that probably stood out the most to me. I liked the Pokemon Snap one. It's kind of similar to Mario, where you're going and going in and out of multiple places. I just think that the task of how you did the pictures was a little too convoluted, and it took me a while to kind of figure that out. I don't know if you figured that out or not. But
you mean collecting the Pokeballs?
No, the Pokeballs was fine, but the Jiggies and needing to smash the ground near a picture, like those things. So the way that they incorporate the photos or photo taking in this game in Pokemon Snap is there's these pictures on the walls around the level, and you have to match up that particular Pokemon that is in another part of Pokemon Snap, if that's the right way to put it. And then you ground pound the ground, it breaks open a box, and you collect the Jiggy, and that's how you do it. So I don't know. Did you figure this out? Because it took me a little bit.
I did figure it out, but I'm also like, I didn't even look at the pictures.
Oh, really? You just...
Yeah, I just went into the level and started doing stuff. And someone in my chat, actually probably was Clifford Longhead. Shout out to Clifford Longhead once again. They were like, yeah, look for the red X's on the ground. So that's probably why I didn't need to look at the pictures, because they pointed that out. And so I knew what to look for.
Yeah.
I mean, I still had to like find an X to get a visible representation to know what I actually was looking for, because they are very subtle.
It's not even red. It's pretty much, it's kind of in the ground, it looks like a mark on the ground. I wouldn't say that it's even red, but you can see it if you're looking for them. You can see them. You just have to know that that's what you're looking for.
I would say that Diddy Kong Racing and Pokemon Snap were the two. They weren't bad, but they're the most tedious levels to me.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
for that reason, I was like, I like the faster paced ones. I thought if I had to pick like which one was my overall favorite,
Yeah.
to be honest, I still would go DK64. It just playing for it hit this weird. I know it's nostalgia 64, so I hate to use the word nostalgia, but it hit this nostalgic like there's a vein that must go in my brain, like right down the middle, right? And it was like I heard the DK music,
yes,
and I playing as Banjo, and I could see Banjo like on DK Isle, and it was like this weird like pathway formed, neurons fired, and it was like nostalgia but new at the same time. And I was like, holy crap. I think I said this on stream. If little kid me was playing this right now, I literally would have just like peed myself in excitement. Like it was like
you know what? I'm
coolest
actually very
thing.
impressed that you didn't pee yourself this time. Never mind.
Yeah, no. I went before the stream.
No, I was responsible. But that's exactly what's so great about this. Just in general, this game, you have to use nostalgia because that's what this game is.
That's the word.
That's the word, and that's what this game really is. A lot of the time, and not to like not in a to use that disparagingly in any way whatsoever. Like it is very well represented and cared for, like we've talked about, and Bottles showing up in the N64 ship
yeah, he's
controller.
flying around an N64 controller. It's epic.
With his angry eyes. That's so funny. But that's what it is. Like I think that's something about the Star Fox one for me, maybe, is that like, yes, it's not, a level that or a stage that you recognize, but there's all this stuff going on in it that is just like, yes, I fucking love this game, and they are really making this work and doing a lot of original things with it, like we're watching right now, sort of seeing the actual like fight happen with the cutscenes, like you said, and like it's just having so much fun, which is fantastic. So there's a lot of that, and it controls really well. Like that's something that we have to, like you mentioned earlier and stuff, like it controls just like it should. It feels just how you think it should. And
it's Banjo.
It's Banjo. That's what this is. I'm gonna go to where's another. Oh, I'm gonna go to, since we're talking about Donkey Kong, I gotta go to that one. There's a lot of little sort of interesting things too, where it's like, oh, here's what are the name of the shoes again? I can't remember what the name of the shoes are.
The Turbo Trainers.
Yeah, Turbo Trainers. Those are in a couple of levels that are just there. Like I think it's in the Diddy Kong Racing one, where they're just there just to get you around faster. Like you don't really need them. Like it just makes you feel like you're racing, which is kind of fun.
I almost think he just acknowledged that they were kind of big levels, and it just helps you get through faster. So it's just an optional thing if you want to move a little quicker.
Yeah.
This part that we're watching right now is really epic, and I gotta say, before you play DK64, you have to do something in the hub world because you are inside an N64 console. You actually have to use jiggies to collect an expansion pack before you can play DK64.
Yeah, the sort of bridge that leads you to DK64 is not available until you go into this little area that I think you need like 400 or 500 notes to get to, which you can get to if you've played a handful of levels leading up to that.
Yeah.
And it looks like this is kind of this is sort of like a Zelda representation. It almost looks like, right? Like so you hand in a few jiggies, and then literally the giant expansion pack gets plugged into this part of the N64 hub world.
It might have been. It actually might have been a Dinosaur Planet reference.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay, could be. Oh yeah, maybe.
I honestly can't remember.
It's hard to tell, but either way, it's another sort of fun. So this is just like a one-stop thing that you hand in the notes. You put a few jiggies in, and then this giant expansion pack gets plugged into the middle of the thing, and then now you can access Donkey Kong, which is amazing.
Yeah, and it gets me really excited. Okay, so one of the things, I hope he does a follow-up to this one specifically. So I'm saying that right now because I'm confident that he's going to listen to this podcast at some point. I would love to see a follow-up, and I'd love weird games represented if possible. One game that I would really hope for to be represented, Kirby 64, the Crystal
Yes.
Shards,
Yes.
because I think that one has a really cool look and feel about it, and you could do the side-scrolling thing a little like 2.5D. That would be really neat. Do you have any games that you're like, I think Smash Bros could be a really cool one?
Smash Bros could be cool. I sort of thought of that as I was playing too, but I'm like, but then we have Smash 64, but that's fine. It's not a big deal that it's sort of quote unquote
imagine
already
if
done. But
Smash levels were represented in 3D though.
That's what it is. It's like if you could 3D represent them in 3D, like you said, and play through them. Which is kind of what the Pokemon Snap one was. Why I was so impressed with those ones is like again. They're represented so well, and these are 3 stages that you 100% recognize if you played that game. I think the first 3 or 3 of the first 4 or something. One of those ones that you and Donkey Kong has flavors of that too, but for some reason those ones stand out and stuff. Kirby's a cool one too. Actually, I never thought of that, but Kirby's a cool one because you could maybe do some funny stuff with combining moves or pickups or collectibles or something. You could find something like combine. I mean, I guess it could be transformations, but you could do something with the trainers and something else, and like combine the washing machine with the trainers, and you could be running around as a washing machine with shoes on it. You know what I mean? Like just something like that, and just sort of do fun combos. And even explore some of those levels in 3D would be cool. You know, like some of those. There's so much stuff going on in the background in Kirby 64 that like if you were to jump behind what you're typically doing in that game, that would be awesome.
I'd love to see Mario Party represented. I think that would be really interesting.
That would be cool.
And you have to do the thing where you have to like spin your joystick at some point.
At some point,
you gotta. It would be hilarious. And imagine the transformation is the glove.
Oh,
and it's like.
Yeah, and then
I don't know.
there's like a boss fight in it, and it's like the star or something. Like you just you have to collect stars, and at the end you lose them all from some silly way. Well,
just imagine you have to fly up the warp pipe. That's like the beginning part of Mario Party where they're falling down.
Yes.
And you have to fly up, and it's playing the music, and like you have to hit like the menu icons or something. Or you hit every character along the way. You see everybody falling
down there. Like the whole like every time they do that like stall in midair and then fall. Like do one of those.
Yeah. I have limitless ideas. You're welcome to take all of them. I have zero execution with that.
Yeah, honestly,
I just think it would be
that's the thing,
very
right?
cool.
Yeah, stuff like
Rayman 2.
Oh, Rayman would be cool. That'd be fun. I keep thinking of games that like I loved the wrestling games growing up, but like I don't know if there's much you can do with that other than like walking around an arena, which is not the most exciting thing. There's more original ideas out there and stuff, but I'd love to see Mario Golf. Sort of find,
that'd be cool.
Like play across
really
a couple
cool.
of the courses because there's so many different layouts and there's so many different courses just in Mario Golf on 64, and you can even implement some of the ones from the Game Boy games as well because some of them are even just Game Boy representations and vice versa of the ones in 64. So that'd be kind of cool because you like go up the hills and you can. I don't know, maybe dig through some of the sand traps or something. You could run across the whole course. It'd be a very open area potentially, but you can add like they did with the Mario 64 levels in this, add a couple like elements from other Mario games to sort of spice things up and make it not just, here's a bunch of grass or here's a bunch of sand.
It could be like a segment of Mario Party, Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, all sort of in one.
That's
like
true.
That sort of series. Even Mario Kart could be represented.
Yep.
Make one sort of bigger world that represents all of those in a small piece.
It doesn't have to be just that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a really good one in my head just a second ago. I know I just totally lost it. Oh man, because it was good.
It would most likely have to be a a Nintendo property and stuff, which kind of it doesn't have.
Paper Mario. That's what I was gonna say. That would be really cool because aesthetically it's just so different.
Oh, imagine you go in and all of a sudden everything is in that 2D paper style. Oh my god. Yes. That'd be excellent.
It would be cool. Literally, there's someone who always comments on my channel named Paper Banjo. I guess I'm shouting out people. I don't know why. But I always thought they have a little icon, and their icon is like a Paper Mario-ified Banjo-Kazooie. It looks really cool.
Hell yeah.
Imagine. That would be so cool. That'd be so much fun. You could play exactly the same. Just be like flat 2D.
Totally fine. Totally fine. Like I would just play Paper Mario, but just playing as Banjo-Kazooie, and you just have different moveset. Like that's fine.
Yep.
I'm good with that.
Of course, we got to throw in Buck Bumble because fundamentally you could have like very similar game mechanic controls.
And
you could transform into the bee
into
in
the
that
bee,
level.
and you could have essentially this at the same stages, right? They're three.
Yeah.
It's sort of, it's not a platformer, but it's sort of, it's a 3D adventure game, and yeah, you could just be the bee the entire time, and then just have incredible music. So
Yeah,
or imagine just
theme
looping the
on
menu
repeat.
music the whole time.
It'd be just the Banjo sound font, but
Oh,
Buck Bumble's theme just over and over and over and over, and I'm okay for it. I'm
Hell-
okay with it. It's fine.
hell yes, sir. Hell yes. Speaking of music, and you said that it sort of hit your nostalgia feels. Let's listen to the Donkey Kong one a bit.
Oh yes. You know what's interesting about the Donkey Kong soundtrack, because the Donkey Kong soundtrack is also Grant Kirkhope, and the
Yes.
sound font is different, but it doesn't feel much different.
It
Like,
doesn't
this
feel
still
that
sounds-
different. Yeah.
It still sounds pretty close to the original. I'm sure things have changed. I'm sure instrumentation sounds like, but this one's pretty close. Which
Yeah.
maybe the synergy of Donkey Kong and Banjo, because of Grant Kirkhope's soundtrack, that's like what makes them feel like cohesive together.
Well, and
Was,
even as different as it is, I thought Goldeneye was almost exactly.
It still sounded, yeah, it still
sounded
sounded
exactly, not exactly, but like very close, and not in a way where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is ripping this off. It's just, it's there and it works. There's something
Yeah.
about it where it just works.
similar. Yeah,
It's not just hitting, like, recording and hitting play on like a record from the game. Like it is recreated in a way, but it's
Oh,
still
yeah.
but it's still
Oh,
its own
yeah.
thing.
it's
and I love
recreated.
that.
It sounds great. I just like that the cohesion is there, because you can hear that, you can acknowledge that this is a different sound font, that this is Banjo.
Yes.
There's more like xylophone kind of sounds.
Yep.
There's like banjo strings and things like that.
Yeah, wind instruments and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but it still translates to DK very well, which is a little. I'd have to listen to DK specifically to pick out any instruments,
Sure.
because
sure.
now that I listen to it right now, I'm just like, oh yeah, that's DK. But
Yeah.
I'm like, I know it's a little different than that.
Yeah.
I guess it'd probably be a little more heavy, like brass kind of sounds.
Brass
and
stuff. Yeah, that's what I would think.
you know,
I would think too. Yeah, that's
the
we're talking
Kong
about.
instruments, bongos,
Yeah.
saxophone, trombones, electric guitar,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
We're
super
talking
cool.
about the music, and we're probably gonna say the name wrong. Sorry. We've discussed this before,
Listen.
but
Listen, it's not your fault, because I asked you how to pronounce it, and you sent me the phonetics, and now I'm still like,
What?
am I saying this right? We're saying, you say it first.
Okay, so I'm gonna read what Kirko sent me, some more notes that he sent me, sort of about, because I asked, like, oh, is there anything you want to sort of toss in as far as how the game came about and things like that, and he wrote and said, for Nostalgia 64, I reworked the models to update them a bit, but the ideas and level design are from other people that he's worked with. But by the way, the music by Riposte.
Repost.
Riposte is what we're gonna
Repost.
say.
You are a legend. Let me just say that.
Yes.
I've really enjoyed chatting with you over the past couple days here. I guess really we've only chatted today and maybe yesterday. I don't remember.
As of this recording,
But,
it's just like the last couple of days, but
Yeah.
but yeah, so that's who worked with the music and just did a fantastic job. Like really everything that we've talked about. Kirko said helped with a ton of songs, arranging midis and fixing some of the old ones that they had previously. So there's touch-ups, there's originals, all these things really sort of come up. And like we've talked about with Banjo-Kazooie in the actual episode, and as you'll hear probably in the GBA episode as well, that you can hear soon too, music and sound is such a huge part of this franchise. It's just so iconic and recognizable. Really big part of the nostalgia part of it, as far as for me at least anyway, and I think for a lot of people. And if you can nail that, and like you were just talking about with like mixing it with the other games, you've created something pretty special, I think. And it goes a long way to making all of these levels work and making this game in general work. So
Yeah, it feels very much like Banjo invading other worlds.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's awesome. It's exactly what you'd want. Because you could, put the original music in, but there's some charm added when it's put in that Banjo sound font. It just sounds a little bit different than how you remember, or in some cases like a remix and several songs like montage together in such an
Yes.
epic way.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I loved listening to it like every step of the way. I was bopping to the music.
It,
I
it
think
never
I
felt
said it
out
on
of
live stream.
place. It never felt like it was not
Always
the
felt
right
good.
choice or anything. It just was. It worked every single stage. For example, there's, the hub world is the menu music from Star Fox 64, which you don't even know that there's a Star Fox, or I didn't know there was a Star Fox 64 game, being represented later. And I was like, oh, this is how they're going to represent Star Fox. And that's totally cool with me. It doesn't have to have its own level or whatever. Yeah, those little touches are excellent. There's a lot of like unique ways that you use the jiggies, like we're looking at right now. There's different sort of references to the games themselves that you wouldn't expect would be a way to sort of unlock a door, or like small things like that, or where a note would be, or like really, really small touches that go a long way for me, that I was just constantly going, oh, hey, oh, look at that. Wow, that's so cool. Like just,
Oh, hey.
oh, hey. Hey. I constantly did that out loud. My wife was like, what are you doing? Are you okay? And I said, no, I'm just having a good time. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on. Don't you get it? Nostalgia 64. She's like, I don't, what? What are you talking about? I mean, she knows I love this franchise, so it's fine. It's like she wouldn't be too surprised with the Jinjos in the back and all the games that I have behind me. I think she gets it at this point.
Yeah, right. My wife got me that banner in the back.
Oh, did she? Nice. Yeah. The only thing I've added to my shelf recently is this Ninja Turtle. Speaking of things that I've added,
Epic.
cool.
I think I saw it last time.
Donatello thing. I
Cool.
posted about it, but it's cool. It is not Banjo-Kazooie related, but trying to think if there was anything else like sort of related to the original games that are kind of tossed in here and used in a unique way. The hub world thing is kind of cool. I like how it's not just let's take the other world and just replace the worlds with N64 games. It's a completely original setup from start to finish, which is fantastic. I think that like if you've played any of these games, like I don't have a huge nostalgia or care for Bomberman 64 specifically, but I recognized what it was doing. I liked the level. I thought it was kind of interesting. There was all these things that doesn't matter if you've had a lot or a little experience with that particular game. There's something you can take from each of those cartridges that you jump into, which is great. And again, if you like Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, anything in this franchise, that in itself, I think you'll get something out of this because it plays like those games that you love. But now you're playing it's a brand new experience. That's what it is. You want a new Banjo-Kazooie game? This is it. Like, it's original. It is completely and not that other stuff that Kirko has done isn't original, but there's just something different about this, I feel. And you've played more of them than I have, and probably to completion. But does this feel like, oh, this is sort of what they've done before, and now it has led to this kind of idea? Is that kind of, or am I sort of going too far with that?
No, if it does, in a way, it does feel sort of like a culmination of things, right? And I haven't played a ton of them. I've probably played like 4 or 5 of his mods, maybe, which he has a pretty vast catalog. I wonder how many mods he actually has, but I played like Nightmare Before Christmas, which is a Nightmare Before Christmas one. That one was pretty epic.
That one's cool. That's the one I played a few minutes of too. I was like, oh my god, this is great. Like
that one's
great.
Jiggies of Time was probably his like ultimate mod before this one, I would say.
Yeah.
I would say that this one has surpassed it.
Okay.
Which I'm sure that probably was his goal, to make like the next big one. And this feels like the next big one. Jiggies of Time, totally worth a play. It's totally awesome.
It's great.
It is. Yeah, it is awesome.
I only played the first hour and a half to 2 hours of it, and I was like, oh my god, I'm 100% keeping that at the ready to play, because it was awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. I honestly think though, I did have more fun playing this one.
Okay.
I think that just comes down to the fact the world changes to a different world so often,
Yes.
kind of gives it a fresh gameplay feel, you know? Like every time you're like, oh, it's something new. It's something new. It's variety. Whereas, Zelda's great and Banjo and Zelda is hilarious and awesome,
Yeah.
but it's one thing. One thing doesn't beat 12 things or whatever it is.
Yeah, and that's like yeah, again, another creative way to sort of introduce Banjo into the Zelda universe and vice versa and stuff. But you're right. Even though you are playing a 3D platformer, you are playing Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie largely in this, it's still, every time you go into a new cartridge, every time you, or even just in the hub world, it still feels like something completely different.
Mhm.
I never felt like I was going into one expecting, or not necessarily expecting, but I never went into one going, oh, this is what I did last time, so why am I even in this one? No, you go to
Mhm.
Pokemon Snap, you're doing a completely different set of tasks in order to get the Pokeballs and the Jiggies and some of the notes. And those things go such a long way to make this feel, honestly, to me, this is a new game. Like, this is a new Banjo-Kazooie game. Even though there's a lot of, things that it's iterating on from other games and stuff like that they're based on. But it is just so well crafted. You can tell that there's just love and care put into every aspect of it. There's just no denying that at all.
In
Any way.
in some ways, this scratches the stop and swap itch.
Oh yeah, that we were talking about.
Because
Yeah.
it kind of makes you think, like me as a kid hearing about stop and swap, it's like, oh, I'm gonna take elements from one game and put it in another,
Mm-hmm.
and that element is Banjo-Kazooie, and we're going in all the different games. So Jet Force Gemini would have been another one.
Oh,
A lot of, I mean, you should make,
that'd be cool.
look at me telling him what to do. You should totally make like Banjo-Kazooie just in the rare universe.
Yeah.
Just go through, just do all the rare games, Perfect Dark, Goldeneye, DK, Conquer, Diddy Kong Racing, Jet Force Gemini, like all of those. Maybe DK Country, like
Mickey
it'd be
Speedway.
really cool. Mickey Speedway, yeah. Blast Core. I mean,
Oh,
a lot
Blast
of
Core
those
could
were
be cool.
represented.
That could be
They were
cool.
represented with little Easter eggs. And
Yes.
stuff,
That's
but-
another thing is there's a lot of small like Easter eggs that are not even in the like based on the particular level you're in. Like especially when you're running around the hub world, little
Yeah,
characters.
the game is Easter eggs. That's
Yeah.
what the game is.
Yeah, that's what it is. Actually, I'm gonna pull up a couple because he had a video that he posted too that has all those little things in it, and I just want to point out a couple so that people can sort of have an idea of what we mean. So you can run around the hub world a little bit, and what happens is just like, and we talked about in the Banjo-Kazooie episode previous to this, how Grunty, for example, will pop up and do a rhyme and talk over, and at just like a random point, right? It's not related to what you're doing necessarily, but it's just, hey, here's Grunty chirping you, essentially, is what it is, right? And in this, the way that that's represented is characters from other games or characters in this game coming up and saying different things. So, for example, Tip Top shows up in this first one here and says, Diddy Kong Racing was originally known as Pro-Am 64 and starred Timber the Tiger. Cool. If you didn't know that, now you do. Does it stop the game? Nope. You're just walking from A to B. Zelda shows up and says the N64 logo in Ocarina of Time uses the wrong colors. They fixed it in version 1.1. Like, love it. Great. I don't know where it is, but and I didn't get all of these. I think there was one that I saw show up before that had Samus pops up and says that like I'm one of the only Nintendo characters that does not have a game on the 64.
title.
Yeah. Like little things like that is fun. What else here? We got isn't this from GoldenEye? Who is this again? I can't remember who this is.
Jokes.
Jokes, yeah. Within GoldenEye 007's code, there's a functional Spectrum 48X emulator within it. Like, great. Like, these little things sort of pop up. And anyways, those little things full of Easter eggs and full of fun stuff that
Yeah,
that you really get out of it. And that you can easily miss, that you won't see unless you're just sort of running around the hub world and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
Here's what I recommend just for people that are gonna go pick this up and play it.
Yeah.
Don't watch Kirko Mods like basically uncovering everything. You should download the game, play it for yourself, see how much you can find, and then go back and look at his YouTube channel and find all the little things you missed, and go one by one and go back and find them yourself.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the way to do it, because then you can have a bunch of surprises, and then you can also see all the details and like how many more there were that you missed. Like, see how good you do. It's a challenge. See how good you do.
And a lot of them, like we've talked about, you sort of stumble upon, which is really great too, because you know, you don't expect them to be there, and then you go, oh shit, and it could be a reference to that particular game that you're in, or it could be a reference to a different one. And it's just, I think you're right. I think that's a good way to do it. I did go back and watch a couple of these that I was like, oh yeah, I saw that. Oh, I didn't see that. But it's fun to do that too, because you go, oh yeah, I saw that one. Oh, or you stumble upon it in a different way.
Yeah.
Things like that. So it's definitely,
I avoided his channel like the plague.
Oh, until I beat it. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
He started posting like the worlds that were in it.
Yes.
And I was like, I want to be surprised. I was like, I don't want to know. I think I saw that. I knew DK was in it.
Yeah.
I knew Mario 64 was in it. I think I saw Glover as well. And those were the only three that I like stumbled upon. And the rest I was like, I'm just going to wait and see. I figured Diddy Kong Racing was going to be in there. Conker actually surprised me. I didn't think that was going to be in there. Goldeneye I thought was neat. Like, I just like, there's a little bit of surprise that was in there.
And honestly, it's kind of like, not everybody really cares about movie or TV spoilers sort of thing. Like, if that's not your thing, to sort of protect that part of your experience of watching, that's totally fine. It doesn't bother everybody, right? This is kind of like that, where it's like, if you don't want to really know, it's not the premise, but if you don't want to really know some of the finer details, then just hold off for a little bit. You know, he has videos posting of like how to find some of the jiggies and jinjos and things like that. So if you're having trouble, you can definitely look those up. But other than that, I agree. Just go play the game, experience it. And even if you've never played Glover, even if you've never played Diddy Kong Racing, play those stages. You will get something out of it, because Diddy Kong Racing is a perfect example where one of the things that you play as like an added bonus is a Donkey Kong Country 2 level. And I was like, are you like, I found that and I went, oh my God, my favorite game of all time is represented in one of my other favorite games of all time. This is the greatest thing I've ever, like, it was just, it was so great.
Pretty cool. That was a pretty cool one.
Yeah. So, and that's one of those things where like you could miss it, but you'll probably stumble upon it too. And it's really fun. There's lots of little references leading up to that point and how you get into it and all that stuff. So there's lots here that you can get out of it. And and what I think would be even better is you play these games. If there is a game you're unfamiliar with, you play in the world, go play that game after the fact. Yes.
Find the world it's based on. See how good like it's been like remade.
Yes, that's
into
right.
This Banjo-Kazooie experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's almost like reverse. Like you played it here first, and now you can see like the original.
Honestly, I would argue that more Glover specifically, I feel like Glover is better in this game than it is actually in Glover. So, but that's just me.
Yeah, Glover's hard.
It's hard. It's awkward. It's very, very awkward. That's the problem. I see what they're going for. I did an episode on Glover, so if you can look that up in the feed. But it's an awkward game. In this, not so awkward because you're playing Banjo-Kazooie. So I had a good time with it. So I think that's pretty much as much as what we have. It's just so great to experience this. Really, really want to thank Kirko for providing us a copy of the game early so we could be able to play it and record it when we did, and be able to get this out to people when it's available to more of the public. Early access was available when we got it, so people that were patrons and supporting the project as it went along were also able to play it, which is great. So thank you to Kirko for allowing us and giving us the opportunity to do this. And also thank you to all the people that supported him, because I think without that, whether it's financial or whether it's programming or whether the music, whatever it might be, like all of those things, like you're part of the team that made this game, and you should all be applauded for that as well, because we would not be experiencing any of this in the way that we are without you. So that's definitely important to sort of point out. It's not just the fact that Kirko has his name on this. Lots of people do. He has gone out of the way to make sure that they're represented and recognized in this game as well. Always love those touches, like I mentioned, and just give yourselves a pat on the back too, because your work and your contributions go a long way. So, Nostalgia 64. Check it out on Kirko's YouTube page. That's the quickest way to get to it, and his work on his YouTube page. There'll be the instructions on how to use it and all that there. If you have an EverDrive like we did, we highly recommend playing it that way. If you don't, it's still a fantastic game and worth playing otherwise. This was great, man. I'm so happy we got a chance to do this. This was awesome.
Yeah. Go Banjo.
Go Banjo. Go Kirko Mods. Check out their work. Not just this game, but others too, like Jiggy's mentioned. A lot of them have a lot of really awesome original ideas. And really, really great work from them even before this came along. So again, thank you very much for letting us play this, Kirko. We will make sure that we are continuing to shout out your awesome work. And everyone check out the stuff that they've been making. Jiggy, until we get people to the next Banjo adventure, because yes, there is more, everybody. There is more. It's so funny because we recorded that particular episode in the GVA ones before we even played or recorded the other ones.
Yes.
It's been sitting on the back burner for a while. I'm very excited for people to hear it. We have another couple of guests on it as well. And we have 2 games to talk about in Grunty's Revenge and Banjo Pilot, 2 GBA representations of this franchise. So until that time, Jiggy, where can everybody make sure they're keeping up with your awesome stuff?
Oh, go on YouTube. Go find me on YouTube. Jiggy Look Back, all one word. I'm actually going through Mumbo May, and it was non-intentional, but just everything worked out that we're doing so much Banjo content on this podcast as well. And I'm like so here for it. I'm like, this is the best.
June is going to be this huge drop off for you. It's just go woo.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. I'll just say this: like, I was exploring. Clearly, my audience is Banjo focused, Rare focused, which makes total sense because so am I. Yeah. But I try to do other things. I did a Pikmin video, Ape Escape, Zelda, stuff like that. We're talking like 1,000 views, 3,000 views. I make one Banjo video, it's like almost 20,000 views, and it's like, all right. I see what you want. I hear you. Mumbo May. Let's go. Banjo content out the wazoo. Let's keep pumping it out. So we're pumping it out. Actually, as we're talking right now, I have a follow-up to the Mysteries of Banjo-Tooie, which is more Mysteries of Banjo-Tooie coming soon. Probably out by the time this episode's out. So just go, you want more Banjo content, just navigate to my channel.
Yep.
You can watch a couple Banjo videos and just throw your life away with Banjo. There are worse ways to do it.
So poke in, after you play the game or as you're playing it, poke in on the VOD of your stream for this as well, because that was fun. A lot of people watching that. So
8.5 hours.
Yeah, don't play this in one sitting, like some individuals did on this podcast. I won't name names. And check in on it after you've experienced a lot of the game too, because like we said before, I do think that finding the Mighty Pooh and like things like it's just these types of things are really fun and really well represented. So remember 64 on your podcast feed, of course, which is where you're probably listening to this, and on YouTube as well, where you can find the video version of this, random silly short videos that I make, and every once in a while I'll toss in some gameplay and things, but YouTube you can find and support the show as well. Of course,
Dave pretty much posts memes. He pretty much posts memes as shorts.
Yeah,
on his
pretty much
YouTube channel. So it's if you like memes and you like N64, you might as well go check it out.
Might as well do that, and it ends up being usually somewhat related to a game that we may be playing in the future or currently or whatever. I have like these tired random ideas where I'm just like, sure, that sounds fun, and then I just post it and see if people like it, and I just experiment. Anytime I have time to sort of do something silly and extra like that, I throw it up on YouTube and on social media. So Remember 64 show on social media, patreon.com/Remember64 show as well, where you can support the show for as little as $1 a month. You can get episodes early, you can get extra videos and content early that I try and put up early if I get a chance to, and then also going to start putting up a little bit more extra content, like small audio episodes, or these are other games that I'm playing. This is what I'm thinking about this and that. time is a construct, so I am working within that, but something that I want to keep bolstering up. And like I mentioned and we talked about earlier, voicecast.app / remember 64. You can leave us a message and let us know what you thought about Nostalgia 64. If you are currently playing it, if you have finished it, what did you think about it? What were your favorite stages? And what do you want to see next? I think that would be a really cool way for us to sort of continue talking about this awesome game and work, and include everybody else in it as well. And we'll play your audio on the show, and we'll talk about it like we did earlier. So
very curious to hear what game you want us to play next. That is very interesting to me because so many games on this console that I have never played, that Dave's never played. So if you have a diehard favorite, which I've heard some obscure diehard favorites.
Love that. Love it.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
So let's do it.
Yeah, let's do that. So leave us a voice message. If you don't, you can always message us on social media and stuff. But feel free to do that and reach out, and we'll make it happen. Because honestly, we want to play everything. I will play everything. So it doesn't matter if it's weird. Doesn't matter if it's good, bad, ugly. Anywhere in between, we're gonna play it. So
plus ultra,
we will experience it, and we will play it, and you'll hear it here on Remember 64. So thank you everyone for joining us. Check out Nostalgia 64 and Jiggy Look Back on YouTube, and check out this game. We will talk to everybody soon. More Banjo-Kazooie coming next episode, and some really fun stuff throughout the summer as well. So talk to everybody soon. Goodbye. Remember 64 is part of the SuperPod Podcast Network. Oh yeah, we are teamed up with a whole bunch of awesome people that some you may have heard on Remember 64 already, but there's a bunch of different great gaming shows, anywhere from Fine Time to Bar Silence to Retro Wildlands. You can of course find the SuperPod Saga on there, Press B to Cancel, all of these awesome shows that are just here to talk about great times with games, share their thoughts with you, our experiences with you. Check us out, SuperPod Network, on your podcast app of choice, and superpodnetwork.com, where you can find all our shows, blog posts, videos, and more.